Hi, Gary Chillingworth here for Airgunner magazine, Shooting and Country TV, and welcome to Life at the Range. Thank you so much for all of the lovely messages that you've sent us through email at lifeattherange@gmail.com, through the website and in the comments on YouTube. Now, we've had lots of requests of things to do. We've also had a lot of people saying, well, Toby put it best. Hi Gary, love the videos, thanks so much, but please, less yak, more shooting. So, Toby, that's what we're going to do today. Now, some of you will recognise this. This is FN FAL, or more commonly known as a British Army SLR. Chambered in 7.62 by 51, this will reach out and touch someone at a great distance. A truly beautiful weapon. Now, before you all get too excited, this isn't a real SLR, this is an airsoft. Now, if some of you have seen my previous videos where we looked at different propulsion systems from CO2 to airsoft to PCP to springers, we did have a brief look at this, but today I thought we would have a good look and see what kind of accuracy we can get from it, what makes it tick, and how fun they are to shoot. So we'll get rid of that. I apologise for the dog barking in the background. Down, Clara! And let's get on with some shooting. Welcome to Life at the Range. So what makes a airsoft work? Well, there are two types. There are ones that run on a battery and there are ones that run on gas. This particular Ares model of SLR runs on battery. Now this battery, quite simply, slots into the back. It's a little bit tricky. One rule is you never rest the rifle on your foot, which I know some of you are looking at what I'm doing at the moment now and are shuddering, and rightfully so, because it's one thing you never ever do. But I don't want to put the end of the barrel in the mud. So you just slot the battery in. And it's worth remembering that when you buy one of these battery SLRs, it doesn't come with a battery, which is really annoying. Okay, so the battery is in and now it will fire. So now we need to load some ammunition. So like a standard SLR, magazine release, remove the magazine, and then you need to load it with BBs. Now, these are .20 blaster BBs. Apparently they are very good, but I'm not really an airsoft shooter, but that's what I was recommended to get. You have a loading stick. You just fill this bit up here, and they all come flying out the bottom. So stick your finger over it. Most BBs are biodegradable, and luckily if you're not doing it on film, you can be a bit slower. Now you can see here, you can see that it's full. Take your magazine, you have a hole at the bottom, insert, and then you take your rod and you push down. Now you also have a little button here. If you pull that, all the BBs will come flying out. Then like a standard SLR, you place the magazine in, hook it in. You can see it's a while since I shot one of these. We've got it in backwards. No. I'll come back to you in a second. Okay, this is a very important tip. Never try and put your magazine in backwards. Okay, so you put your magazine in, click up, and then you're ready to go. So then, all you need to do is put up your rear sights, look through your front sight, and it's time to fire. That's how you load an Ares SLR. Okay, here we are on the range and we've got some targets set out. Now, let's be realistic. An airsoft rifle is not going to get pinpoint accuracy. Also, we're not going to use our standard airgun targets because they won't affect metal. In fact, we'll have a little demonstration now against a standard knockback target and we'll see how it does. And as you can see, it's just hitting the target but not actually moving it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move it onto single shot, and let's go for some accuracy on some paper, and let's see what we can do. Now, as we can see, the accuracy is not great. We're shooting through iron sights, we're shooting at 20 yards, but we are having a lot of fun. You can fit a scope on top. It's a weaver rail, so it just clicks in. However, scopes like this are no good, because when you put them on and you lock them into place, when you bring it up to your eye is too close to the ocular end. You need something like an MTC Connect, something with zero eye relief, or probably a red dot sight will be best. But the great thing about this particular rifle is when you get frustrated shooting single shot, take your magazine, lock it into place, pretend to rack it, and have some fun. I love this rifle. Now, a good friend of mine, Bert Tate, who I shoot the UK HFT with, and he's one of the top veteran airgun shooters we have today, told me, well, let's first of all, Bert has spent his life serving Queen and country, going from jungle to jungle, jumping out of planes and doing everything that our wonderful military does. And when he was a younger man, because I think Bert's probably well into his 40s, plus a few years now, he would have been issued with one of these when he was in his younger days. And he told me that if I'd have turned up on one of his ranges and I'd have held the rifle like this with the magazine, I'd have been on a charge so quick my feet would not have touched the floor. I'd have had an RSM running me around a parade ground with an ammo box above my head, and I'd probably still be running now. The correct way to shoot is obviously gripping the forend. But this isn't a real SLR. I wish it was. Oh my Lord, I wish it was. This is an airsoft gun. And for me, gripping it by the magazine makes my life easier. So, sorry Bert, do apologise, but it has to be the magazine. I still love this rifle. Okay, so in my previous video when we were looking at the power of rifles and CO2, spring, PCP, I stated that these airsoft are non-lethal, and that is certainly true. They're designed to shoot at people. You know, people run around in woods and they use these rifles and they shoot them at each other and they have a whale of a time. Playing soldier for the day, absolutely great. Keeps you fit, it's good for the kids. It's a wonderful sport to do. But please remember, it's still firing a hard plastic projectile at 300-400 feet per second. And if you get that in the eye, you're going to go blind. So always wear eye protection if someone's shooting at you, or if you're shooting at close range and you could have a ricochet. The other thing to remember is this looks like an SLR. You go walking down the street, you point it at a policeman who's got a real gun, they're gonna shoot you. So armed trespass, big no-no. It's still a firearm. Actually, I don't know technically if it's a firearm, but be sensible with these things. They're great fun, but they still look like a real gun, and you will scare people if you point them at them. So they're not toys. Now, how much damage can an airsoft do? Now, we've had a couple of emails from people saying, Gary, can we have some tests? Shoot some ballistic gel, shoot some watermelons. If you want stuff like that, you know, people shooting powder burners, proper bullets, I strongly recommend check out things like Demolition Ranch and Kentucky Ballistics. They go around shooting watermelons and bits and pieces and they blow stuff up. We don't have their budget, but we're British, and what we do have is we have Spam. Now, Spam is great. I love Spam, as you can probably tell from the size of my stomach, although my doctor has told me I can no longer eat Spam. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot this block of spam with an air rifle, see what sort of damage it does, and then we're going to shoot it with the airsoft, and you'll be able to see the difference between the two. So let's get on, let's shoot some spam. Oh, and by the way, we're not going to waste this. Once we're finished, we're going to dig out the BBs and the pellets, and my wife's told me that this is possibly my dinner, or I think there's probably a good chance the dog's going to get it. So spam is your friend, unless you're overweight like me. Okay, as you can see, the air rifle pellet went straight through and hit our backstop. So a block of spam, no chance against an air rifle. Next we're going to have spam versus airsoft. Okay, so as we can see, there is damage. We've actually embedded some BBs into the spam, but nothing has gone through. So that is going to hurt, but it's not going to kill you. Spam versus airsoft, spam wins. Okay, so we've had a lot of fun today, but the question is, why am I doing stuff on airsoft? Now, I spend most of my life running around with one of these, an Air Arms TX200 Hunter carbine. I shoot competitively with it. This is my passion. So why am I shooting an airsoft SLR? Well, my dad's been gone for 15 years now, and like many of our greater generation, he did his national service and was issued with one of these rifles. Terence Charles Chillingworth was his name, and he was a member of the Middlesex Regiment. And when I grew up, he told me of stories of him out on exercise and people putting a couple of shillings under the main trigger sear and turning these things full auto. So every time I pick up this rifle, I think of him. And I miss him, and I miss my mum. And that's what happens when you get older. That's why I love these rifles. And hopefully when my son gets older, if he ever picks up a gun, he'll think of me. Although knowing my son, he'll probably be the cause of my death, but we'll go into that on a later date. If there's anything else you want me to look at, do we want to do more airsoft, springers, PCPs? Do you want me to do some shotguns if I can, or some powder burners? Drop me an email at lifeattherange@gmail.com. Leave a message in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe, which I've been told to say. Hopefully I got that right, Emily. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Enjoy your shooting, and thank you from Life at the Range. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you really enjoyed it. We've tried to do more shooting, less yapping, and this is what we're going to do in the future. Now, if you're actually thinking about buying one of these rifles, and I strongly recommend you do because they're so much fun, there's a couple of things you need to know. This rifle is what is known as a RIF. That's a realistic imitation firearm, and that's because that's exactly what it is. It's realistic. If you want to buy a realistic one that looks like this, then you've got to be part of what's known as the UKARA database, United Kingdom Airsoft Retailers Association. Now, to become a part of this database, you have to join an airsoft club, and you have to shoot there 3 times in 3 months, and they will enter you onto the database or give you a form to send off. If, however, you don't want to do this, and you just want something to shoot in the garden, that's fine. What you can do is you can either purchase second-hand, and you don't need to be a member of the database, or you can buy what's known as a two-tone rifle. And a two-tone rifle is the identical rifle. They just paint the front end blue, back end blue, or red or green. Basically, I think it's about 1/3 of the rifle has to be a different colour so that it looks not realistic. I don't know why, but that is the rules. Also, please remember, as I stated earlier on in the videos, The rules on airsoft are very similar to that of air rifles when it comes to where you can shoot them. You can get done for armed trespass. If you shoot them in your garden, that's absolutely fine, but don't cause distress to people who could be overlooking. If you're shooting in your garden, make sure all your BBs stay within your boundary. And if you're living in rented or council accommodation, then check with either your landlord or your council that they are happy for you to use one of these in your garden. So that's about it. That's the legals. Be safe, enjoy your shooting, and thanks a lot from Life at the Range. See you next time.